Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Everything Playbook. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm your host, Priyanka. This is only the second episode, so I'm going to take a minute to give a short introduction. Everything Playbook is a podcast exploring ideas, stories, and conversations with people who are actively contributing and shaping the world we live in. We are going to have guests from all kinds of industries: art, science, tech, travel, health, alternative ideas, etc. Basically, we will talk about everything, explore everything that's important and valuable and crucial in today's world. Personally, the best part of this experience will be the incredible guests in each episode and all of you listening to this. Today's guest is Mitchell Thayne, founder and creative director of Filmlaab, a film production company based in Salt Lake City that focuses on videos and podcasts, partnering with the coolest brands and projects. Okay, I'm going to try and set the tone for just how important and special this episode is, all right? First of all, if you are a photographer, videographer, whether you're just starting out or you are already good at what you're doing and you want to find a way to build partnerships, find collaborators, or just scale it into a business, you're going to find this super valuable. Also, even if you're not into the photo video game, but you're pursuing anything creative, continue listening. The star of the episode, Mitchell Thayne, you're going to love and get a lot of value from what he's got to say. But more than that, by the end of the podcast, you're going to have immense respect and admiration for the person that he is. I mean, like, forget even about the creative part of the conversation. I'm talking about Mitchell Thayne, a father, husband, brother, son, colleague, friend. You are going to adore and learn so much from that side of him. I was preparing this podcast last night and it made me think so much about what kind of a person I am and where I need to get better. So, that's a whole different level of value you're going to get from this podcast. We recorded this podcast 2 years back, and back then I was starting out in photography. And this conversation helped me so much in making meaningful connections on how to approach creative projects, how to partner with other creatives. And honestly, this particular podcast has been a silent driver the last 2 years that kept poking me the whole time that I have to get back to this podcast thing, that I have to do things, that I have to get better, etc. So I'm going to stop talking now. Enjoy the podcast with one of the best people I've had the pleasure to talk to, Mitchell Thayne. Whole journey of like entering into like this filmmaking production, like this production company where you create content and where you partner with different brands and everything. All of that started with you having photography, taking photography as just like as a hobby few years back.
Mm. Yes,
And that
ma'am.
kind of transitioned into like into Film Lab, a passion project, and now you have like this whole team and everything. Because I also went all the way down through your Instagram account, and all at that point, all I could see was this like regular guy doing his hiking, attending concerts with friends and girlfriends, and now like how did the transition to fall in love with photography and cinematography, and how did that transition happen?
Absolutely. So, the journey from taking something from a passion to actually a career and a genuine path is, I think it all starts the same, right? I mean, at first, I started taking photos and video because I was just excited about capturing experiences, the things I was doing, the people I was with. And I remember when somebody said, "Hey, I will pay you money. I'll pay you like $200 if you'll shoot a wedding." And it blew my mind. I was like, somebody values what I do enough that they want to give me money to do it. And that became very, very exciting for me. From there, it was kind of just step by step, right? I shoot a wedding here. I got invited to film a concert there. And it was just the more I was creating, and not only just creating, but actually sharing the things that I was making, because there's a lot of great artists out there. People who are so much more talented than me um, don't get as much work or opportunity as I do because they don't share their work. And so over the course I really started getting into filmmaking in 2016. So over the course of the past, 6, 7 years, I have posted and shared hundreds and hundreds of pieces of content so that I have just brought more and more opportunities. I stay top of mind. And so the journey really began by, again, falling in love with it, taking every opportunity, and then doing my best to do a good job, and then just posting it and just sharing it. And so from there, I was being an individual, but I obviously grew beyond just wanting to do projects by myself to realizing creativity at its best form is collaborative. When when you and me, right, when we're here, Mitch and Priyanka are talking, right, we can come up with better ideas and things that'll have more impact and influence because you have unique experiences to you. And I have a unique set of skills or whatever. And when we bring those together, what we output is going to be so much greater than if I just sit here and talk by myself, right? And so I realized that same thing in filmmaking and in entrepreneurship and all of it. The collaboration was a very important part. And that's what I was missing when I was just running around by myself. And so from there, I decided I wanted to actually build a production company. And I remember trying with so many different individuals and trying to bring on friends to collaborate with and to create this production company with, but there was nobody who was actually already doing it themselves until I met a partner named Jackson. Yeah, it was kind of, I don't know how far you want me to go into that story, but we kind of were able to build a production company. It got acquired. We went, left that. I started Filmlaab, and that kind of leads us to today. But the big difference between me just being a hobbyist and creating things I like was I shared it, and then I knew collaboration was important to take it to the next level.
Like from your content, there are like some words that I repeatedly read or like hear from you. It's like consistency and also collaboration. Actually, collaboration. What's your networking style like back then, or how has that improved, or like what is your current networking style like? Like for someone like B, like someone like the person who was Mitch like 3 years back, 4 years back. If that person is just starting out today, what should be what is the networking style that you would like advise?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's the approach you're currently taking, right? It's reaching out and offering value. Um, and so for me, some of the things I did is I would just reach out to people and say, I will film something for free. Or I remember I wanted to get into concerts. And so I reached out to a friend who was a DJ and said, hey, I know you're playing this big show or this big party. Can I just come and film you for free? I just want to make something cool. And he's like, of course, duh. And from there, I shot it, I made something cool. I gave it to the people who hosted the event and they loved it. And from there, they gave me more and more jobs, which led to me shooting for, Steve Aoki or for some of these really cool, exciting artists. And they were still smaller things. They weren't anything big, but it started out with me being willing to lead with value rather than lead and say, please give me something, give me an opportunity, help me. I'm saying, how can I help you? And there's a lot of people who are doing that to me now who are saying, hey, I will come hold a boom pole on set or carry C stands for you or come work an internship for free, right? And they're so willing to do that. And that means a lot to me. And those are the people who I want to give opportunities to versus there's people who come to me and say, hey, like, if you ever have any work, this is how much I charge. Like, do you have any projects I can come on? And I'm like, well, I'd rather give it to the guy who's trying to bring me value first, and I want to look out for him because he's trying to look out for me. So when it's not about transactions and it's more about the relationship, I think that is the most important thing with networking because people can sense, if I'm talking to you, Priyanka, and I come up and, I really want to get onto the creative courage playback book or whatever, and I want to come on here and I want to do all this stuff. If I'm just like asking you for opportunities, it's a transaction, you're not going to be as interested in dealing with me. But if I'm coming and I say, hey, I think I could help promote what you're doing. I could help here, here, and here. Then obviously it means more and it shows that I'm leading with the relationship. So relationships over transactions for sure.
And you are very generous with offering value, like through your content. Because in every piece of and also with the YouTube videos that you've created so far, I mean, it's still brand new, right? The YouTube channel and everything, but it doesn't seem like it's brand new. But of course, because the team is like super cool, first of all. But with just one video, there's like so much of takeaways, Do you
Uh,
realize that, like, like, does it accidentally come out, or do you like really kind of like have that intention that I really want to provide that much value? Because each one, there are so many takeaways. Like from one videos, I learned about like just by the way that you guys communicate, I learned a lot of different filmmaking tools and everything. And by the way that you guys communicate, I learned like how many brands that you partnered with and how you got those brands and etc. That's so much value in just how you guys like normally communicate in those YouTube channels. So it's really so that value that you're talking about, you are giving out in abundance, each of them. So I think that's your like your northern star, like the amount of value that you provide. It's like you do what you're preaching.
Well, thank you. And I think that's the goal. And it's interesting that you said, what would you say to Mitch 5 years ago? And that's who I try to create content for.
Mm.
And I'm still not very good at it, because I'm in my current state. And sometimes you have to have a little bit of space and time to think, okay, would I have really needed to hear or support I could have had? But so I'm trying. I'm still not great at it, but I think that is the goal. Is like, how can I give somebody a leg up? So what took me 5 years to get here, somebody can do it in 2 or 3. Because I really do have a mindset and a belief that there is plenty of work and plenty of opportunity to go around. And if people that I can support start succeeding and doing really well, they're going to remember me. They're going to pass me and fly by me, and they're going to remember little old Mitch who maybe helped them along the way. And that's only going to come back to benefit and bless me as well. And so, yeah, if I can give value and give people, some support along their journey, first of all, I'm going to be happier about the way I'm living my life, because that aligns with my morals and my values.
Yeah.
But then second of all, it only comes back. When you put out good, it just comes back.
Talking about morals and values, also one more thing that I find from your content is that you never like, it feels like you never compromise on quality, because each of the quality of that video, or even when you're speaking, like everything is like of top notch. Are there like some with the content that you want to produce or anything, like are there some values that you hold strong? Like there are some things that I would never compromise, I don't know, with the team or with the brands that I want to partner with, etc. There are some things that I can allow, but there are some things that I can never compromise with. Are there anything like that from your creative process?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. You've got great questions, by the way. I'm impressed. Um, so I think the thing that I never want to compromise, really kind of like, I'm sorry, let me turn on Do Not Disturb so that doesn't bother our potential podcast again. What the heck, Mitch? Um, I think the thing that's really important for me to not compromise really does come back to the value that's being given. I always make really high quality things with, I'm always shooting on DSLRs or things like that. And I don't want to pigeonhole myself and say the only time I'm going to create things is when I'm doing it with my camera. So, but I do want the benefit I'm giving and the value I'm giving to be the forefront of my mind. So I think the problem with a lot of creatives and a lot of artists is, for example, when working with a brand, they want to work with a brand. And let's say the brand comes to them and says, we have a need. We want to create an ad that's going to help sell this new product that we're releasing. Okay. And a lot of times creatives will take that and say, awesome. Now, how can I make this so creative and so fun and personally fulfilling for me and something that I'm excited about,
Mm.
rather than saying, okay, how can I take this, make it so it does what you need it to, and it's something you're excited about and that you're proud of, while also putting my own personal flair with it. And so I think many creatives put so much value in their own creative fulfillment rather than finding fulfillment in helping other people with their dream and benefiting and blessing them. Because obviously, when I'm making my own content, that's for me, and I can be as creative or abstract as I want. But when I'm working with clients or particular people, they're paying me or asking me and my team to do something very particular. And so I need to lead with their goal in mind and lead on focusing and bringing the value that they need rather than just trying to my own personal creative fulfillment out of it. And if I lead with benefiting them, the product's going to be better. The results are going to be better. They're going to have more trust in me. And the next time they come back, they're going to give me more and more freedom. So that's kind of the one thing I try never to compromise on is because the last thing I want to do is have somebody spend, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 on a project with us and then not have it make them that money back or help or benefit their business because I was so worried about making it something that I enjoy. So I think that's probably the main thing is I want everyone who interacts with me to leave better and to leave having been benefited by our interaction.
Oh, so powerful, really. With the projects that come to you, like the clients who approach you, how do you study the project? There should be a
Yeah.
process, right? Between you and your team, there should be some process how you guys prep for it or study. I have and speaking of people like me as well, we also have these things in mind. Like for example, one of the things that I really want to do is that as a form of networking and also as a form of collaborating and like gaining the trust from people and providing value and everything. I want to approach some nearby businesses, like the local businesses. I don't know, the local gym or anyone, asking them, can I just shoot the content for free? I want, because I want to
Mhm.
really, I want to practice the things that I want to practice. And I also want to show you that there is something that I can do for you, sort of thing. How do you, um, so the thing is that how do you study? Like as a starter,
Yeah,
how do you study? And now as a team, how do you guys approach a project? How do you do that, like a case study sort of thing?
totally. So generally, if somebody approaches us, they have a particular problem or a pain point that they need solved, right? So I have a product that I'm launching and I need it to sell, or um, I need to train my employees on a process, or I need to create greater awareness around where our local gym is and what makes us different, right? They have some sort of a pain point or a need. If they're not approaching us, I really just ask them the same question, right? So let's say you go to your local gym or you go to your local bakery and you say, what is the greatest pain point for you guys? What are some of the things that you're having a hard time with right now? Because I want to come in and help. And maybe the gym says, well, we don't have enough people signing up for our memberships. Or maybe the bakery says, well, people don't know that we do, custom wedding cakes or that we cater people's events, right? And so now from there, I know that they have a problem that needs to be solved or they have something that they need help with. And so rather than me just making a video of the gym, which might not really do anything because I'm just filming random stuff, I now know this gym needs people to sign up for their memberships. We need to show what makes this different, what's included in their membership, and why, somebody would benefit being a part of it. Right. And now all of a sudden I have more of a direction than just kind of like looking at the whole brand saying, now what do I make for them and how do I approach it? So I think leading again, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I'm so sorry, but leading again with how
No.
can I bring you value and how can I solve your problem gives us so much direction. And from there, then you just get creative and like, okay, now how can I solve this in a creative way in something that's unique or something that's exciting for them? Um, yeah. And then what's going to happen is you're going to shoot that thing for the local gym. They're going to be like, people are going to come in and sign up for some memberships and they're like, oh, how'd you hear about us? They're like, oh, well, we saw the video that you guys posted or the ad that you've been running. All of a sudden they're like, wow, look at what Priya did for us. Or they're like, wow, now that she made that video for us, we're having people sign up. Now we want to keep working with her because we're seeing the benefit. So again, just figuring out how can I solve their problem and how can I bring them value? Again, that's how you get not just one-time clients, but clients who keep coming back.
Mitch, there is so much. This is so important. Like what you just shared. It's like probably it's like somewhere around my head or like somewhere I must have read or something. I don't know. But it's just the way that you have to give more content, man. Really. Like I don't know. Like with your podcast, you need to speak more, you need to write more, you need to make more videos of stuff. It's so important what you just
Oh,
said. Like, because there are like I don't know how many people think what you just said, because I've never thought about it. I've only thought, okay, I'm going to do something for them and it's going to be good for them. And meanwhile, I'm also going to get better at my craft and everything. But I never thought about it like, okay, what are they struggling with? Like, what would they, what, how, like, I never thought about
mm,
it in that angle. Super important what you just shared. And
thank
also,
you.
I think you should never get the feeling that if you're repeating some things too many times. I think you should never get the feeling. I know that you also really follow Gary Vee's work a lot. You see the guy, he says the same things again and again and again,
Yes.
and he even said in one podcast, "What do you want me to lie? This is the only thing that I believe in, so I'm going to say it again and again." So it's like, so don't, change the way that you maybe change the way that you say it or something, but don't ever get that feeling that maybe you're repeating yourself too many times, because it's so important. And I feel like, just like he said, sometimes you need to, like, shout it more and more and more till like people really kind of like gets inside their head. And
Well, I genuinely appreciate that, and I haven't, these are just things I'm learning along the way, and I haven't always led that way, right? I haven't. It's just through lots of hard knocks and a lot of failures, I've kind of learned like, okay, the way to approach it. So I appreciate that.
actually, it's a good thing, because the next question is about failure.
Beautiful.
Because again, this is something I came across one of your content that 2021 or 2022, sorry, was like one of the toughest year as an entrepreneur and as a team for you guys.
Yes,
But it was
ma'am.
like couple of things of like why, or was it due to the inflation and things like this, and how did you guys like really try to still keep consistent and like try to maybe if you're still trying to overcome that, or if you've overcome that, then how did you guys do it?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think probably the most difficult part of last year was it was two things. One, we overthought everything and we tried to make everything perfect. So
Ah.
let me let me tell you a story, right? We invested just under $10,000 into our brand and our website. And that was a lot of money because we had just left. And I say we because it was me and a partner who came out and started. His name's Jackson. He's no longer with us anymore, which is part of what made it hard. But um, we left, invested all this money into our brand, and we wanted to make everything perfect. So
Mhm.
we we spent all this time working on the brand with our designer, working on the website, and we wanted to make sure our social content and the things that we were pushing out were going to be perfect because I'd had a previous production company named Avenue Film Co. And
Okay.
back then, um, back then we had just thrown up a website, thrown up a reel, and just started posting whatever, and jobs came. But this time I said, okay, I need to do it bigger. I need to do it better. I need to make it perfect. And so what happened is we got on our Instagram and we posted a little thing saying loading, coming soon on
Okay.
on it on Filmlaab's Instagram. And then for the next like 8 or 9 months, we didn't post a single thing. It just stayed there stagnant because I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted everyone to be so impressed and saying, wow, I remember Mitch's last company. This is so much better. This is so much bigger. It's so much better. And because I was so worried about making everything perfect and I overthought the entire process, for those 9 months, we struggled, right? We had a few clients and friends who knew we had left, but because we were not promoting ourselves, we weren't marketing, we weren't sharing content, we
Mm.
weren't pushing out our brand, we didn't promote our website, because we weren't doing all the things that I knew we needed to do because I wanted to make it perfect,
Mm.
it really stunted our growth for a very, very long time. And I
Wow.
remember one day, it was July, July of 2022, and I said, Jackson, we don't have any leads. Like we have a big problem. Like we need to just start posting. We need to say, all right, here's our branding, here's our website. Go check it out and start pushing it out because we have no opportunities. And so yeah, we pushed it out. And Was it everything I had ever imagined? No. But we started sharing it, we started putting it out, and guess what? The opportunities started rolling in. And so, again, what I think made our life so hard was we overthought everything and we chased perfectionism rather than just consistency and putting things out as we made it. And so we were basically 9 months behind on growth when we could have been 9 months ahead, if we'd been sharing and
Wow.
posting and just getting over our own ego and just starting to share. So that's number one. Again, the second most challenging thing was finding the right team members.
Team.
So who are people who are going to be collaborative, who are also willing to take direction, but also take creative initiative. And that was really difficult. We went through a lot of different people last year. Different potential partners, different producers, different editors, different art directors, and I think we rushed it. I think we were trying to grow too fast. I think we were trying to, get everything moving too fast rather than taking the time to vet the person to make sure they were the right fit, so we could then move forward with them. And so, again, to summarize, I think it really came down to overthinking and perfectionism, as well as my ego, wanting everything to be perfect, and then not taking the time to identify and bring on the right people. But now, I think we've figured that out a bit the last few months. Putting aside the ego, we have the right team, and now the momentum is really coming.
Yeah. The conversation, and we are like so mentally in sync because the next question is about your team.
Beautiful.
The team that you've put together, Mitch, if I'm not wrong, are some of them from your family, like your brother?
Grayson's my brother, as well as Talmage. Grayson
Okay. Oh,
shouts
yeah. Okay.
of us
Okay.
podcasting.
By the way, you have such a beautiful, like insanely beautiful family. Like you and Megan and Olive, like it's just like like picture perfect family. And I guess you have a brand new baby coming up. So
Yeah, we got a baby boy coming in May. We're excited, and I agree. Olive
congratulations.
and Megan are just stunning, and Olive gets it from Megan 100%. I'm very out of my league with them,
She
but
has a lot of influence on you, doesn't she? Like I like with just the way that you communicate, or like just simple things that you write about her. It just shows that how much of like that good and positive impact that she is having on you, like day to day. Um, it's like it's
extremely.
just very evident actually.
Well, I mean, it's so important because I think it's very easy, especially in social media, especially in building a business and entrepreneurship. It's so easy to get caught up in these things that don't matter. At the end of the day, making a video for a brand, that's not what life's about. That doesn't matter. Getting followers or likes or opportunities from social media, that doesn't matter. And being able to have the most perfect, sweet daughter like Olive, or an amazingly supportive and emotionally intelligent wife like Megan, helps bring my head out of the clouds and pull me back to what matters the most. And I'm so lucky I have them in my life, or I'd just
That's
be head
literally
down.
like the most important thing, right? To have the right people around, to have the right support from the family. Like we could go out and create all that we want. We can climb mountains and stuff, but then when we come back home or get down from the mountain, we need somebody to like care
Amen.
about us more than the hike. Like, but what I understood is that you guys really spend a lot of time together, obviously, with the amount of projects that are coming up and everything. How do you build that team chemistry like together as a team? How do you guys continue to have that bond and that chemistry between each other? Because you guys spend so much time together, obviously, day in and day out. There should be difference of opinions, and each person is doing their own thing. How does that
Mhm.
collaboration happen?
Yeah. I mean, with different personalities, there can be conflict or there can be disagreements, but I think it really does start from the top, right? And anytime we bring on a new person or whenever we have meetings as a team, I say, "Hey guys, I'm going to share what I think. If you don't agree with me, tell me. Tell me if I'm wrong because I don't know everything. I'm still learning a lot. I have some ideas, but I value your opinion so much." And And because there's been so many times where I thought we should do something a certain way and somebody would offer a different suggestion or an idea and it would be 10 times better than mine, right? And so when I would always say, "Hey," and
Mm,
I'm not perfect at this. I have an
mm,
ego. I think
mm,
all people do, but I try to very much say, "I value you and I value your opinion, your contribution." And now there's going to be times where we might disagree and I'm going to say, "Well, I'm sorry. I think this is what we need to do, so we're going to need to just move forward." But for the most part, because everyone feels like I love them and I respect them, even if they don't maybe agree with me, they're always fine to move forward with something. And because of that, we have we really focus on environment of communication and collaboration. It helps a lot. And then aside from that, I try not to make them work like insane amounts, right? I try to be very respectful. Hey, man, it's 5 o'clock. You need to get home to your wife. Or hey, if you guys want to play Call of Duty for 30 minutes in the middle of the day, do it because you're still a human and you still need to laugh and have a good time. Or, let's have lunch together as a team every Monday or whatever. I just try to help people know that I'm their friend and I care about them as a human. And when I lead with that, I've always felt like we have a good team relationship. So
yeah.
kind of
And
a
I
win.
don't think what you just said, like, trying to be as human as possible, like it's 5 o'clock, just get out of here. Like, I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs would like want to do that, especially when they're like starting out and they have a bunch of projects and everything. It's so refreshing to see in this age and time that we have with so much of competition going on and things like that, a person is still able to take a stand from a human point of view and be like that. Because with the work that you're creating, one thing, the most strongest aspect, which is very evident for anybody, like all the hundreds or thousands of viewers that are looking at your work, is that you have like a good team backing everything up. Like there's a good team behind it.
Mm.
So that's
Yep.
and it sounds like a sound team, like a healthy team, if that's the right word. It sounds like a healthy team is behind it. And I hope that that momentum, like it stays like that and everything, because it's like super, because you're also documenting a lot of stuff and everything. It's so nice to watch your team's culture. It's so nice to watch your film lab's culture of, like, how you guys communicate, the friendship that you guys have with each other. uh, what I mean?
Well,
So it's
thank
really
you. I appreciate that because I've done it wrong before.
uh-huh.
Like I remember days where in our last company we'd work actually, 13-hour days where we're doing things like that. And I remember there were times where me and my partner were really worried and we wanted to know everybody was 100% productive every hour of the day. And that's hard to keep up. It's exhausting for you to try to manage that. It's exhausting for them. And it made it very more of a begrudging thing, right? And so because there's times where I say, "Hey, it's 5 o'clock, go home. I love you. You need to get home." When there's times where the team needs to stay later and stay till
Mm,
7 or stay till
mm,
8 or have a long day. I mean, we did a project where we we woke up at 6 a.m. to go shoot. We finished shooting at 9 p.m. and then we had to edit until the next morning at 5:30 a.m. So it was 23 and a half hours of straight work, right? But because the team knew that I love them and I prioritize them, they were so willing to do that because they're like, Mitch isn't just trying to take advantage of me. He's always looking out for me. Like, so if I need to go the extra mile, I'm happy to do it. And again, I've done it wrong plenty of times, but I've learned that I would rather get to where I want to be slower and have it take an extra year or two, but be happy and have
mm,
peace and have our
mm,
team be happy than to just get there a year or two faster
mm. What do
and be
you
miserable.
what do you look for a person joining your um, production? Like, what is it that you look for your team members? Like, what kind of
Yeah.
like apart from the skills, I mean.
Yeah. Apart from the skills, I just look for somebody who cares about people.
Oh, wow,
Uh,
really?
genuinely, right? Because they are my best friends because I spend more time with them than my wife during the week, right? Because I'm with them 8, 9 hours a day sometimes. I'm with my wife, a couple hours morning, a couple hours at night. So I want the people that I'm with to share those same values and care about people so that we can enjoy each other. And that creates a workplace that we enjoy being in. And then beyond that, I really value people who are willing to innovate and take initiative in their own area. There's entrepreneurs, right, who go and create their own business and their own thing. And then there's intrapreneurs, where people internally inside of a company or a culture or business innovate and create something better and take that initiative. And that's what I look for, is like, who's somebody who is going to come inside and make this better and take ownership and be excited about it and love it. Like my brothers love this. Parker absolutely loves this. He puts in so much time and effort.
Mm.
This guy could have taken a big tech job doing sales, but he took less money to come work here because it's something he's passionate about. And
Yeah.
those people mean a lot to me. So yeah, that's kind of what I look for.
That's really nice. It's like how many people so far?
So we have 6 of us. We just had one guy get poached, which I think I told you. So
Wait,
yeah,
so has it happened already, or are you guys
today
you're
was his
planning?
last day. Yeah. So,
Oh my
do
God.
you know Lonely Ghost? They're a clothing brand. Uh,
No.
anyway, we work with a company called Lonely Ghost quite a bit.
Okay.
They're pretty big here in the United States. And my old partner who left, maybe 5 months ago, he recommended one of our guys to them. So they just came and said, "Hey, we'll pay you a lot of money." And it meant a lot to me. We were sitting right in this room, right? He was sitting there and he's like, "Mitch, I got to tell you something. I'm so worried about telling you this." He's like, "I'm really scared right now." I'm like, "We're friends, man. Just say it. It's okay." And he's like, "Lonely Ghost called me. They want to give me a job. They want to over double what you're paying me." And I was like, he's like, "What should I do?" And I'm like, "I think you should take it, you know,
Why? Why did you think that way?
because it hurts me to have him leave because I love him and
Uh-huh.
because he built our team and we've invested a lot of time and money and energy into him. But it's an amazing opportunity for him. They're a huge brand. He'll be making more money and he's going to be able to grow and apply some of the things that he gained here and take it to the next level. And so I was like, "Look, man, I think you should go." And obviously that's hard for me to say because I love you. His name's Dan. You've probably seen him in some of the videos. He had like cheetah print hair for a little while. And anyway, he's a funny dude. But um, and it was really hard. And he said, "What's funny is I almost turned him down because I wanted to stay so bad." He's like, "I feel like this is family to me." He moved from an entirely different state just to come out here and work with us. And so that made me really grateful because who would almost turn down a job paying them twice as much for a super cool brand, to stay and work here? And that meant a lot to me. So
And it's super nice of him to like ask you in such a way, to like sit you down and then and say what he's feeling and then to and ask you what he should do. So that speaks a lot, like volumes about like the level of trust and the bond and I'm sure like probably it wasn't an easy decision for him as well, but
right. But in
really,
the end, I'm happy for him.
yeah.
So yeah, right now we've got 5 of us who are in office all
Okay.
the time. We have me, obviously, being a founder and kind of creative director. I've got Sky, who is our operations director. He manages projects. I've got Grayson, who films and DPs and does stuff like that. I've got Parker, who is a production director. And then I've got Talmadge, who's my other brother, who runs the podcast studio, is helping produce our podcast and a bunch of
So
other people.
cool. Wow.
And then we've got a CFO who's not in office. He lives
But
in
it's remote.
yeah, he's remote and he's amazing.
In your case, like with Filmlaab, like why is it that you pursue the thing that you are trying to pursue? because it's not just filmmaking and stuff, because there's also a podcast coming up. There's like, you have like a bunch of ways you're expanding and everything. Like I'm not also even thinking about from a team perspective, just like Mitch sitting alone in a room and thinking about like that, I sometimes get that urge, I want to do this, I want to do that. So what is
Right.
your why? Like, where does that urge come from for you to be this
Yeah.
creative and to pursue this?
Yeah. Well, it's three parts for me. Number one, I'm a religious person. I'm a spiritual person, and God to me is the ultimate creator. I believe that God created this earth. Believe He created all of us, and so I think the act itself of creation is divine. It's beautiful. It's a higher form of something. Your ability to write and tell a story or to evoke emotion is so powerful, right? And beautiful. And so for me, it is a way for me, number one, especially on the thing, creating content or things that I'm passionate about. It's something that makes me feel like I'm fulfilling part of the measure of who I'm supposed to be and like who God intended me to be. So that's what for me. Number two is obviously I'm trying to build a life and something beautiful for my family. You know, I don't want to miss, and there have been days where I've woken up before Olive got up and been at work already before she woke up and then didn't get home until after she was already in bed. And I don't want it to be like that forever because I want to build something so I can prioritize my relationships. And then number two, probably one of the things I'm most passionate about in my life is helping other people achieve their dreams and believe that they're capable of more. The one thing I think I've been given and blessed with more than most people is an insane optimism that things are going to work out and that, like, I feel so confident, Priya, that you are going to do great things with this. And I want you to know, I'm happy to introduce you to people for you to interview or whatever I can do to support this because I think what you're doing is amazing. And for me, I want to create things and I want to do things and I want to support people because we are all capable of so much more than we think. And I'm tired of a negative society and limiting beliefs. And I want people to find something they love and go and be and do that. And so if my job literally could be either creating content or going to lunch or talking one-on-one with people and saying, what matters to you? What makes you happy? What gets you excited? And let's talk about how you can actually achieve that and accomplish that and become that. That would be like my favorite thing ever. And so creating content around people becoming better or improving or the ways I'm trying to improve and grow or whatever it may be in hopes that it can have that kind of an effect on somebody else. Uh, that's very fulfilling for me. And that's a huge part of my why. So yeah, to summarize,
So
God's a creator.
powerful.
I want to be
Mm,
like that. I want to build something for
mm,
my family and I want other people to accomplish and achieve their dreams. And I want to be a part of it if I can.
mm. So powerful, really, like super. I'm so moved, actually, but super powerful. Also, just like, with the kind of, I mean, all the answers that you gave, nothing's like, because I want to do this, because I love this, because I like that. None of the answers were like that. All of them were about because you owe it to someone, to God, to your family. And the third one was because you want to give to people. That's so beautiful. Did you even realize, like, none of it was like a selfish answer, like, oh, because I love this so much, so I want to do this. Crazy, like, how you answered,
I
like,
mean, I'm still a selfish person. I still have plenty of those moments. But I had an opportunity when I was 20,
mm,
from age 20 to 21, excuse me, I was able to be a missionary for my church. And so I served a church service mission in Cape Town, South Africa for 2 years.
okay.
And, while I was there, I was obviously talking about God and trying to share good things. But I was living among, these African people who had so little. Like some of them really did, like many of them lived in shacks with dirt floors, and everything in their life was about other people. It was always about their relationships, and that's where they found the greatest sense of joy. And when I went out there, I was a selfish dude. I wanted what I wanted, and I wanted to do these things. But as I spent time with these incredible people, I realized there's such a higher and better way to live. And
Mm.
so, in the moment, there's plenty of times I'm selfish or I'm not doing good, but I am truly grateful because those people changed the way I view the world and
Mm.
realized that life is about relationships. It is about other people, and everything else is just details.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, that's kind of, I can't even take credit for it. The best parts of me have probably come from other people's influence, and they're a big part of it for sure. But I appreciate that.
This thing about like being selfish and like you saying that, oh, I also do have some ego and stuff like that. I think all of us have, like, everyone born a human, like we're all bound to like be selfish from time to time and have that egoistic issues running inside our head and everything. But I think like what separates some people from the rest would probably be is that they are able to identify that, yes, I am selfish. I do have some ego and I'm going to work through it. you
Yeah.
know what's the toughest people are the ones who are very negligent, like thinking that there is no selfishness or there is no ego, and that's where the communication gets a little bit difficult. But if it's the person, like I'm talking to you and you do admit that, I have had some instances where like the my selfishness got in front of me or my ego got in front of my decisions, but I did work through it.
Mhm.
That's healthy. um Actually, that's something that, like we wish, like, how of course, like more people kind of cultivate in their nature and everything.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's that comes from being surrounded by good people, right? Like, my
Mm.
wife is so wonderfully emotionally intelligent, right? And so up until recently, I haven't taken much time to internally check in with myself and work on myself, and so she'd be like, "Hey, Mitch, here's some insights into you and why you're doing some of the things you are," like, that I've observed. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you pointed that out. You're right. I need to work on that, or I need that." And so, yeah, who you surround yourself with, it has a major impact. So,
uh,
yeah, it's that self-awareness is something I'm still working on a lot. But and that's the interesting thing, and is the more I get into art, um, the more I'm trying to learn to think on a deeper level and to go deeper. I'm always so fascinated with monks and their ability to, be inside themselves in their own heads, and the way they're able to, through the power of the mind and being still, achieve such higher levels of self-awareness and insight.
mm,
And my mind is so busy. I mean, it's always going and thinking about the next thing, and that's really one of my greatest goals, is to learn how to be still.
mhm.
So, because I really appreciate the kind things you said, but I know I still have so far to go. But I know the way to do it right is going to be through taking time to understand myself and
Yeah,
check in.
yeah. Do you read a lot?
I do mostly audiobooks,
Oh, okay.
but if you got a suggestion for me, please give it to me if you ever have one.
Because since you said you really like to get into how monks, into the monk mindset and like the life and everything. And of course, like I don't think your goal or my goal is to like become a monk, but to really understand their sense of like being patient and like um, that's the goal, right? Like to really understand like how monks think and like do go about things and everything. There is actually a book. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called The Autobiography of a Yogi. It's
No.
by Paramahamsa Yogananda. It's like it's in fact I read like so this is one of my favorite books actually. To if you really want to like get
Is
inside
it
the
this
mind
one?
of, yeah, exactly, this one.
Okay.
So this is the book. It's like a pretty thick book. It's about like he's actually a Himalayan yogi, and his
Mm.
about his like him getting into practice with other Himalayan yogis and like connecting with God. And it's a very beautiful, it's a very profound book actually. In fact, this is the book that Steve Jobs gifted to everyone in Apple.
No way.
Yeah,
That's cool.
exactly. This is a book that he gifted to everyone in Apple, and also everyone who attended his funeral. That's
No
great.
way. Wow. Thank you so much for recommending that because it is one of my weakest areas, but it's one of the areas I'm most fascinated in. And I know if I want to become a better person and if I want
What
to
do you mean,
improve,
reading?
no, sorry, just being still, meditation, just the yogi monk lifestyle, and just all the things and practices that come with that. Um, I'm really weak there, right? I
Mm.
especially right. We all use our phones for distraction. There's so many things to distract us, and I want to be better about eliminating that, being still. And so thank you for that. I'll definitely check that out.
I also have one more book suggestion. This is not about spirituality, but this is about creativity and like team, because you have like such a cool team and everything, and of course the team is going to grow and stuff like that. So this book, it's called Creativity Inc. and it's by the founder of Pixar, Ed Catmull. He co-founded Pixar along with Steve Jobs. So
Mhm.
he wrote this book, Creativity Inc. It's basically like creating Pixar, and all the amazing movies that they have, like the Toy Story and like so the drill, like the kind of content, the movies that they're beautiful movies
All
that
of them,
they've
yeah.
created and everything. And irrespective of whatever, of course, it's for every creative. For me, every creative should read it, especially creative with like with the team and who are trying to build filmmaking projects, because that's the whole thing about Pixar, and it's about like how many different ideas they came into Pixar, and how they approach everything with empathy. Because all the movies
Mm,
that they've made, if it really moves us. It makes us think. It makes us like want to be like this better person and human being and everything. So they put this empathy on the front and then try to create content, the movies out of it and everything. And it's like, how to like work through different sprints with big teams and everything. It's a beautiful book. I think now I'm talking about it, I have to read it again. But it's like you will really like it. If there is
well,
one
I
book,
just downloaded it.
if there is one book, just like Steve Jobs did, where he gave the autobiography of a yogi to his employees in Apple, maybe if there is one book that you should give it to your employees, it should probably be Creativity Inc. I think because everybody
Well,
would kind of like it.
I mean, I Pixar movies, especially now that I have, a 2.5-year-old daughter, we're watching them all the time, right? So
Um,
that is really, really cool, and I love this suggestion. Thank you. I'm downloading it right now.
oh, you're the audiobook guy. Like, when do you listen to? Basically, like, when you're driving and stuff.
Yeah, when I'm driving or, and just kinda doing things, but what I've noticed is I'll do an audiobook so I can listen to it because
Mm.
I don't retain as much if I'm just listening, obviously. And if a book really impacts me and I really, really enjoy it, then I go and I get the physical copy and I read it so I can retain even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a way I can consume it quickly, get a strong understanding of what it is, and then when I'm like, okay, wait, I love Creativity Inc. I'm buying that physical copy and I'm gonna just study it. That's kind of the way I approach it. But yeah, I think you have a gift with particularly, at least you made me feel during this interview very important and very special. And I very much appreciate that, right? And you took an interest in me. And there's a really cool principle. My dad is a marriage and family therapist, and he taught me this principle about curiosity. So curiosity is the most simple form of love,
Okay.
right? So when you express curiosity in me, Mitch, how do you do this? Why is this important to you? What are your goals here? In a very appropriate way, you're saying, Mitch, I love you. I care about you. I'm interested in you, right? And so your ability to be curious immediately makes me feel love and appreciation for you, right? And so the way that you approached it, and what's cool about curiosity, it's appropriate in any scenario. Even if you're married or whatever in the workplace, you can be curious about people, and it's still a great way to tell them that you care. So I think you have such a gift and such a way of doing that and showcasing that. And I believe that is going to help you succeed with this.
Yeah.
So
And you are right when you say that I do care, I do show interest and everything. I'm not doing this for the numbers, I don't want to have people in the website for the sake of like having so many interviews and everything. I only approach people with whom I really resonate with and I want to learn from. And the whole point of also this creative courage playbook is that it's not just like, me learning from you and then me going and doing some whatever I learned from you. I really want to like shout out to people like, hey, these are the things I learned from that person. They're so good. Like, let's try something out of it. Like, like maybe I learned so much. Maybe you can also like learn so much from him and everything. That's the whole idea behind this itself is like, I'm very curious. Like you said, I'm super curious and everything. And when I resonate with a person, like for example, with you, I feel like super invested in like watching, cheering for them, like so excited for like, oh, what he will do next, what he will do next and everything. And I really want to like, I believe in, I just believe in like shouting good things about other people. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm so, it's such a big thing for me. I love talking about other people to other people, but good things, I mean, like, like that's the whole point of this. And also now, slowly, bit by bit, I'm getting surrounded by other creative people, and I really want to show them. I really want to show this person and say like, I learned so much from them. Hey, maybe we could learn something from him, and it's so important. That's why I'm saying like the YouTube content that you're creating and everything, like I said, also, maybe it's not very evident, but with whatever I am doing at this very second, you did have an impact. It's probably not very loudly evident, but there is some like a mental wire that probably turned on by watching one of your content, which like, bit by bit pushed me and everything. So that's the power of like sharing good stuff out with others, I think. And that's what I want to do.
thank you so much. I super
All right.
appreciate you. I'm glad we get to be friends and stay in touch. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out.
Of course. But I just one word, I'm super grateful. I'm just thoroughly 200%. I'm just grateful for this conversation and for your warmth and for your support and for your love and everything. I'm just like carrying it forward with everything that I get to do from this moment onwards. So thanks a lot. It means so much and I'm super grateful.
Of course. Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye, Mitch.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. That was a good one, right? I hope you found this episode valuable. Just like I said towards the end, that I will take forward the lessons I learned from Mitchell going forward, which was 2 years back, and I still feel the same. I hope you did too. Big inspiration, very big inspiration. Go check out his work, check out Filmlaab's videos. They are absolutely brilliant. All the links are in the description. And of course, subscribe, follow EP. That would mean a lot. That would mean everything. Thank you so much. We will speak again soon in the next episode.